In this video, I'll be disassembling these Yamaha Virago carbs. These are the Mikuni BST-40s. So all Viragos 1988 and on, and 700cc and above have these carbs. The older ones have Hitachi carbs, so the disassembly procedure is going to be different. The reason I'm doing this is so I can split these carbs apart and run one of them on this single carb manifold. So going from 2 carbs to 1. Once you get this part off, the link between the 2 carbs is mounted by these 4 bolts here. As you can see, they're stripped out and they're really stuck in there. There it goes. Now that we got that out of the way, got those 4 stubborn screws out. To disconnect the carbs from each other, you got to pop out this choke linkage here. There should be an E-clip on the end of this linkage right here, but mine's missing that. And then on the throttle, you'll just disconnect one of these E-clips back here on the throttle linkage, and the carbs will separate. There it is. Now that I got the carbs separated, I'm just going to put one off to the side and start tearing one of them down. At this point, it's a good idea to hold this diaphragm up to the light and just check it to make sure there aren't any holes or tears in it. This one looks good. And to take the needle out, we'll just drop it straight through. This is the correct order that the washers should be stacked in on the needle. All right, next up, we can take apart the coasting enricher jet. This is a separate circuit that basically what it does is if you are riding at high RPM and you close the throttle suddenly, that is in there. Yeah, if you're riding at high RPM and you close the throttle rapidly, the engine's going to be sucking a whole bunch of vacuum. So this there's a little diaphragm in here that'll open up and inject a separate stream of fuel through another jet into the airstream, so the engine runs not excessively lean, which it would otherwise, and that helps to reduce the popping and banging in the exhaust that you often see on older bikes when you're decelerating. It's going to pop out with the spring here. You can and carefully remove the coasting enricher diaphragm. You want to check that, hold it up to the light too, make sure there's no holes in it. Next up, you'll see there's this plastic component in here that houses the jet, the coasting enricher. So to take that apart, you can just grab one of these tabs here and just spin it around. Yep. Yeah, definitely gotta be careful there. See, there's a spring that'll pop out with it. And then that right there is the air jet for the coasting enricher, so you want to pull that out too before you clean this. Yep, there's that little pile of air jet for the coasting enricher. Next we can move on to the float bowl and the main jet circuit. So once you get in here, you'll see your pilot jet, your main jet, your floats, and then that's your float valve here. So when your carb is filled up with fuel from the fuel pump, the floats will come up like this, and it'll shut off this needle valve here. Won't let any fuel through. And then once that fuel starts getting sucked up through the main jet and it starts getting a little bit low, this float will kind of come down a little bit, and that needle valve will allow some fuel to escape through it and refill the float bowl. So this float is just kind of regulating the fuel level in the float bowl. That's what plays a huge part in determining if your bike is running too lean or too rich. It's just a pin that'll slide out. That float is just going to lift right off with the needle valve. There's a screen, you can see there. That's the fitting that the needle valve sits into that regulates your fuel flow in your float bowl. There's the pilot jet. So it regulates fuel flow at idle when the main jet has not yet got enough vacuum to start sucking fuel up through there. So when you're at idle, this main jet here is not really playing a huge role in keeping the bike running, but this pilot jet here is injecting fuel into the airstream. Once you start opening the throttle up, that's when the engine's pulling more vacuum, it's pulling more air into it, and it'll start sucking fuel up through this main jet here, which is larger, so that's what's going to give you that power. So now that we got the main jet out, you can see this tube in here. That's called the emulsion tube. That's what the main jet screws into. So I've had these carbs apart before, and an issue that I ran into was whoever had this bike before me on the front carb, they ran the main jet in way too hard. They tightened it down way too many times, and what it did was it took this emulsion tube and it just spun it around in the housing here. So this white stuff here is plastic. There's supposed to be a little ridge that goes into this groove on the emulsion tube and holds it in place, but let's see if I can get that to focus better. You can see they stripped it out when they ran this thing in way too hard. I suspect it might be running a little bit rich because of that. I think it might be sucking some fuel up through that gap there in the emulsion tube. To remove this, you'll need to push down on this end and it'll pop out through the top. So I'm going to use this main jet as a little surface to push on to get it moving. There it is. All right, next we can remove the choke circuit. So the choke linkage here actuates this plunger, and that's the fuel valve for the choke. So show you how to disassemble that. Careful not to lose this washer here. It'll come out. We'll be left with this hex thing here. Oop. I accidentally launched that thing across the room. Thought it had more thread on it than it did. There's the valve for the choke. Lastly, you want to remove this fuel air mixture screw here. That's the screw that you adjust to set the idle fuel air mixture. So this spring will come out with the mixture screw. So adjusting this up and down will adjust the depth that this little pin is inserted into the fuel stream. So that's how you adjust how rich it's running at idle. There's actually a small O-ring in here at the very bottom. You can't really see it, and it is kind of a pain to get out. So just grab a pin or something and see if you can grab onto that. You may need a flashlight to see it and see if you can get that out. It's definitely worth it to replace it if you can. So that's as far down as I tear these things. This is going to open up all the key air and fuel passages through the carb body. That way you can put this thing in some cleaner, take an air compressor and blow it out. You make sure it's nice and clean on the inside. See, I have my parts laid out here. I like to keep them kind of grouped up like this. So I've got my float and my float bowl assembly here with the main jet and pilot jet. I got my diaphragm, needle, and spring. Got my coasting enricher system, and then I've got my choke circuit here. One thing I noticed was there's some imperfections at the top of this emulsion tube here. You kind of see you got a couple little nicks right there in the top of the emulsion tube. So the reason I think that's interesting is because I noticed when I had the pistons out of this bike that this was the front carb. The piston had some uneven carbon buildup on it, so it had some spots of carbon on it that kind of made it seem like the stream of air and fuel coming into the cylinder wasn't even. So I believe that may have been the issue here, was those little nicks there in those little imperfections in the top of that emulsion tube. It was just giving that cylinder an uneven fuel and air stream. So it really does not take much to start causing performance problems. And I'm going to go ahead and replace this emulsion tube. So as I started taking apart the rear carb, I realized something. This jet right here, this air jet, in the diaphragm housing area, the front carb was actually missing that. So I don't know what got messed up there. I must have just overlooked that last time I had these things apart, but that's definitely going to affect the performance. Now that I've got both carbs torn down, I'm going to run all the parts through this Kim Dip carb cleaner. I like using this stuff because it's safe on rubber and plastic components. If you use something like gum out, you have to be careful to remove all the rubber and plastic that you can because it'll attack it. But this stuff works really well. So I'm gonna run it through, blow them out with compressed air, and then I'll pretty much just take all the best parts that I have and put them on just one of the carb bodies. These are interchangeable, which is a really good thing about this bike. You can just switch the carbs back and forth as needed. And I'm running a single carb conversion on mine. I'm gonna take one and put it on this manifold, put some bigger jets on it, and see if I can get it to run with just one carb. That's gonna make maintenance and tuning a whole lot easier. So yeah, installation or reassembly is pretty much just the reverse of disassembly. So I won't film that. Hopefully this video helps you out if you're having issues with these carbs. These are pretty tricky. It may take you a bit to figure them out, but it's definitely doable. So thanks for watching.